Butterfly guard, what we've been doing is we're loading our partner up onto our butterfly hooks, where butterfly hooks are going in between our partner's legs. For the new guys, butterfly guard is just the butterfly stretch position. My feet are together, my knees are wide. My feet are going in between and hooking my partner's legs. We're grabbing, if you're new, just grabbing the armpits. I'm scooting my hips in, pulling my partner's center of gravity over mine, lifting my hooks and pushing my grips above my head. This forces my partner to post his arms on the mat. On their way back down, we've been working different strategies, going double underhooks and sitting up and attacking from here and different things. Today, we're gonna work on a shoulder crunch. So it's the same thing. I'm gonna load my partner up, force them to post their hands. Now, on the way back down, instead of going double unders, we're gonna go to one arm. It's very important that you make sure you get your arm in the right spot on the way down. So my wrist and my thumb are going right behind the shoulder joint. My other hand is gonna start reaching up. As I start to catch, I'm catching a gable grip. First, I'm starting to collapse this to my chest. When I get to this position, I'm gonna actually go wrist to wrist, and I'm gonna really clamp down on this shoulder. If you guys see, this elbow is high, facing the ceiling. I've locked a wrist to wrist gable grip. My head is gonna secure my partner's upper arm near the bicep, and I'm really kinking, look, see this kink? Right in the shoulder joint with my wrist and forearm. This makes a ton of pressure on Joaquin, makes it very uncomfortable, and when my head is up, it kind of traps him in this position. Try to just pull away. It's very difficult to pull away from this. What I'm gonna do to get to where we're gonna stop is I have my butterfly hooks in still. I'm gonna stretch them to my right side and get my hip out to the left, to here. You guys see? I'm clamping hard here, my head is up. I'm really stretching my partner out. Now, we're just gonna do a really easy sweep here. What usually happens is my partner is very uncomfortable. I'm gonna bring my bottom leg to his knee. Let's turn. You guys see my bottom leg? It was inside. I'm going to my partner's knee as I clamp. I'm gonna start stretching. Look at my head. I get up on my elbow. My head is high. He collapsed. I used the hook to nudge him the rest of the way over. I'm just gonna get on top using that. So shoulder crunch, extremely uncomfortable with my partner, and I'm gonna use the sweep. He's kind of just conceding a sweep from the pressure. Watch this again. I'm gonna load him up, put his hands at the floor, going right behind the shoulder, gable grip. I'm going wrist to wrist. By the time he lands back on his knees, I'm elbow high, I'm wrist to wrist, and I'm clamping this butterfly grip to my chest. Right now, my hips are kind of out to the left. I really need to get them out far. So I'm gonna use my two hooks. I'm gonna stretch him out and really clamp on that shoulder. He's already, look at his head. He's uncomfortable. His head is low because I'm clamping on the shoulder. My bottom leg, putting my foot on his knee. I'm just gonna push his knee out from underneath him, get up on my elbow and start to raise my hips up. Look, that hook is still in. I usually make sure I get him over and make sure I get on top before I let it out and I go to the mount. And usually end up right here in the mount. The key while you're doing this, guys, is learning to get this grip tight and in the perfect spot as they're falling. If you have to do a bunch of adjusting once they're down, sometimes they'll be pulling their arm out by that time. So I load them up. My thumb goes right behind the shoulder. As they come down, I go wrist to wrist gable. I'm already stretching my legs. My hips are already out to the side. You guys see that? Watch that again. Watch it all happen at once. Load them. Boom. You guys see? Now, once I got him really, his weight is just staying over here because he's so uncomfortable. That's when I kick his bottom knee out and I get up. Ride the hips over to the top. Load my partner up. His hands hit the mat. And the most important thing that you guys may have found out while you're doing this is to make sure that your shoulder crunch is nice and perfect. Because what happens is if I'm not precise with this, right now I'm not in the shoulder joint, I'm kind of on his deltoid. I can lock in the same spot and start to get my hips out, but right now Joaquin will turn his thumb to the ceiling and pull his elbow through. You guys see that? If I have the shoulder joint perfect, have my head clamping, I have the kink. He can't do that. Try to turn your thumb up, he just can't physically do that. If I'm not collapsing the shoulder to the chest, bring your shoulder up a little bit. He can pull his thumb up and just pull it through the hole, right there, yeah. He'll just pull his elbow out. So it's super important. While you're practicing this slow, just develop a good habit of finding that groove right behind his deltoid with my thumb. First I go gable, and then I go wrist to wrist, and I'm head clamping tight. Now I landed, and it's perfect, and it's tight. I'm extending just to feel what he does. If he concedes, I'll go that way. But a lot of times right here, people know what the possibilities are. They don't want this to happen. They'll drive back into me. And when they do, here we go. We're going to the other side. Come back. So as I feel pressure coming back into me, I scoot back underneath my partner. See that little hip escape? So my hips are out. As he pushes back, I go 1, 2. I'm already lifting here. As I lift this hook, my elbow is lifting his chin and collarbone and pushing, and I'll take my partner over. Follow him up. We end up here. You guys see the arm is really extended. There's a bunch of different ways I could attack this arm. I would first go to the mount, and then maybe I would start looking for the arm lock here, or just getting control of my partner's head. And now we have their head and arm, and we can attack from here. If you know anything you can follow up with, you can do that if you want while you're drilling. Watch that again. I'm gonna load my partner up. I'm making sure I get a nice shoulder crunch. As I extend my partner out, he pressures back into me. I scoot my hips under and lift that hook. Look, he's already going. Sometimes when guys are athletic, right here, rewind, Joaquin will start to really base out. If I'm just using my hook, you might not get him over. Make sure you're lifting the chin. You guys see that extra? Some people forget about that, and that is what gets that extra little bit of leverage to get him over. Now that we're here, just for beginners, I would just go under the head. Make sure you get your foot out. Go all the way to the mat.